Hi everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a Twist. And I'm going to play with a brand new upcoming stamp set called Rustic Centerpiece. And I showed this on my unboxing and oh my gosh, it is such a cute set. And let me know if you want me to do this as a class in the mail kit because it is really, really fun. And it is way bigger than I thought it was, right? All right, so if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So if you are new, welcome. I am in the chat room during the video premiere, so head on over there. I'll be with my friends, and if you have any questions or comments, I'll be there. If you are watching the replay, leave a comment below, and YouTube will let me know, and then I can reach out to you. If you are new, Mimeograph Monday with a Twist is basically I'm going to do at least 2 projects. And I'm going to do like Stampin' Up's version. This could be in the catalog. This could be in my store. And then I'll do a twist on it. So this is a fun one. I did change it a little bit because they have it as a tag on like a pop bottle or a wine bottle or something. And I don't have like any of that. So I'm just going to not cut it as a tag so I can use it for something else, but it's basically going to be the same thing. And then I'll do a twist. So this has been a really fun series, and it's a great little challenge for my brain. All right, so I'm going to stop blabbing so we can get started. So make sure you close your eyes just for a second while I get my camera adjusted. Okay, this is the cute set I'm going to be playing with today, and I did show this in my unboxing. And these are a great size. So this actually says right here, images at 75%. It actually says images. They forgot the I. How funny. But in my mind, I was just looking at it. Usually I know they're a little bit smaller on the case, but oh my gosh, so when I actually mounted them, look at the difference. So this is a great size set for coloring. Oh my gosh, and you know that's what I love to do. I love to sit and color. So let me know if you would be interested in doing this as a class in the mail kit because it is so cute. But like I said, look how big they are. All right, it is a cling, and then of course you need your own blocks. All right, so I'm going to use this one right here. Just set those guys off to the side. And like I said, the sample was a tag, but I'm just gonna do it like it is, but I'm not gonna cut it as a tag because I'll probably just put it on a card. All right, so I'm gonna use my Memento, and I am coloring with the watercolor pencils, and it's kind of big, so I'm inking it up kind of like backwards. And that way I can see that I've, got it really inked up. All right, and then I'm going to come up a little bit because I am going to add some letters underneath. Now I trimmed this pretty good so it would fit on this size block. But it fits on this guy, as well. So, all right. So there I have this cute little reindeer stamp there. And it's funny because I have several of these wood, what are they, live edge circles. I have them around the house in different places, in my studio, in the kitchen. So this is really fun. I might have to recreate this at Christmas time. All right, now we have put there's an alphabet. So this is the mini alphabet, and this was the first time I actually used this. And you can do as many as you want. I just put the whole thing on and I cut a bunch, and then I just have a bunch of letters. But I want it to say Mary. And I'm just going to put that on now so that glue can be drying. So I know I want Mary. I have extra ones cut here. And I'm going to put my Y over here just to kind of visualize that they're the same space on each side. And then I can fill in the rest. But this just kind of gives me an idea of where I need to start gluing. All right. And I'm just going to use the green tip glue. Now you could use the foam adhesive sheets. You could use the adhesive, just the adhesive sheets. They're skinny. They're almost like a sticker. But I'm just using my green tip glue. Sticking them on there. Doesn't take too awfully long. Just give it a good push. And I'll put that middle R. But this is a fun alphabet. I believe I hadn't played with it before. We also have that brand new alphabet I haven't even played with. That really, really big one. So that would be fun to make some banners with, because we even have that really big banner. And I love to make banners for the studio. Usually I make them and then I put them away and I pull them out every year. Like I had that really cute Halloween one. So I'll have to make a new one coming up. I should just do a nice birthday one, right? And then I could put it out when we have a birthday month in the family. So our next birthday month is October for Eric, so I have a couple months to work on that. All right, so here we have our Mary. And then I'm going to color the reindeer and the tree and all that stuff with the watercolor pencils. Now, these are from both, because we have an assortment 2 and an assortment 1. So I kind of grabbed from both of them. Okay, so let's see here. So I have crushed curry. So I'm going to put a little crushed curry on the reindeer so that he's got a little bit of an undercolor before I put the brown, just so he's got a little, like I said, undercolor. All right, I'm also going to use the crushed curry on the candle, and then I'm just rubbing like softer around the area, but where I want it to be darker, like it's heavier color, just come back and just press harder. And so the watercolor pencils are, I don't use them enough, but they are really easy to color with. And you don't even need to, like, I'm just coloring them like this. I'm not adding water, but you can, right? You can add water with them. You can use your blender pen, but I'm just using them, you know, just like you would, you know, when you're in school, right? And you colored with pencils. We always called them pencil crayons, and I had to get over calling them that, because people would say, well, that's not a crayon. But in Canada, we called them pencil crayons. All right. So then I'm going to take my early espresso, and I'm going to color the rest of the deer. And I'm going to go right over top of the crushed curry. And then that way, certain areas of the deer are going to be a little different in color than the other ones, just so that it's got a little variation. And I don't want it to be the same as the candle, but yet I used the same pencil as the candle, but by going over it with that early espresso, it just softens that yellow a little bit, but it gives that reindeer a little more of a wood grain look to them. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the candle. I'm just going to go over in areas a little harder. I'm just pressing a little harder with the pencil. And then you get like some shadows and stuff on there. And then I'll just go real careful up here in the antlers. I had a customer and her husband actually made these really cool deer with sticks. So that's what this kind of reminds me of. She would have loved this set. All right, so there we have that. And then let me do the wood that they're laying on. And I'm just going to use pecan pie, just so it's a little different brown than the reindeer. It's got a little red undertone to it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing. Like after I color the whole thing in, I will come back and just press harder in certain areas just to give it a different look to it. And I could even go in and add a little of the early espresso here and there if I wanted to give it a different look as well. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. All right, let me do my candle. Now this is Daffodil Delight. So this is kind of similar in color, but you know, you can see the difference there. All right, we have our tree and our holly berries, and I'm just using garden green. So Jeff went to the post office for me. He's my, since he retired, he's my post office guy. And I was like hinting at him, I need some straw. We have a little garden that we planted. I've showed pictures on Facebook. I don't know if I put them on my blog or not. But I have strawberries growing, but they're rotting, and I think I need to get some straw to put underneath them. But I don't want to pay $30 or more for a whole bale of straw when I don't need a whole bale of straw. I just need a little bit of straw. So I was like, maybe if you go to Tractor Supply, they might have like a little tiny bit. Our neighbors have hay, and I don't know if you could use hay or not. I mean, they're not called hay berries, they're called strawberries, right? And I think that's maybe where that name came from. All right, so look how cute that is. And then the cherry cobbler, because I did use cherry cobbler for Mary, so I'm just going to come in with the berries with cherry cobbler, and then also the bucket that the little tree is sitting on. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to color it all once, and then I'll come back and I'll just press a little harder. And it's so easy. So see what I mean? I didn't even need to add water. I didn't have to use a blender pen. And, you know, it is so stinking cute. Now, one thing that they did do, and I'm not going to do it to this one. I'm going to, because I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. But what they did, after they finished it, they took the Birchwood 3D folder and they simply put this inside the folder. They ran it through the machine, and now it has the 3D folder look to it. So cool, right? Now I colored this one a little bit different. I went in there and I made this be a little darker. So it does look a tad bit different in that regards in the coloring. But so cute. All right, so this was the online store version. So now I'm gonna do a twist. You know me from my twist. I have to do the sunflower. All right, so I cut this a little bit bigger than the other one, just because my sunflower is a little tiny bit bigger. And I'm going to color with the blends this time, of course, right? So I'm going to ink this up with the Memento. I think that they made this stamp set for me. Isn't that bad? But that's what I think. All right. All right, so this is just some basic white. And then I'm just going to carefully put this on here. And hope I didn't smear it. We need a block in between this one and this one. I might be able to trim this down like I did the other one and put it on that other block, but that is good for now. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry pretty good before I get coloring on it. And I wanted to put a little greeting. So this stamp set doesn't have a greeting, so you can have these cards say whatever you want. And I went to my cupboard. Now this is one of the stamp sets that's on Last Chance, so you want to make sure you grab it. It's got some really cute sayings in there, and this is Humble Home. So that's what I chose to put on here. So I'm going to go welcome, and then I'm just going to fussy cut these out. And then I have home, and I'm just stamp them like kind of away from each other so I can cut them out later. And then on the inside, I want to stamp something as well. But I also wanted to use this. This is a sunflower 3D folder. Look how beautiful that is. So I wanted to use that as well. So I picked Crumb Cake as my card base, and I'm going to have this card stand up instead. So basically I just cut it and scored it the opposite that I usually do. And then I did this with Daffodil Delight. Look how gorgeous that is. Beautiful. So I'm going to put that on the outside, and I'm going to use green tip glue so it can get in all those amazing sunflower nooks and crannies. Okay. So if I do this as a class in the mail, I might have to include this embossing folder. What do you think about that? So always let me know. Always reach out to me and say, oh, I would love for you to do a class with blah, 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 or this, that, and the other. But look how gorgeous that is. And I just did it. I didn't even add any color to it. All right. And then I just cut a strip. And we're going to put this on the inside of the card. And I'm going to put it along the edge instead of on the bottom. Let's see. It doesn't really have an up or a down, because I don't believe you see a stem, right? Do we see a stem? We see leaves, but I don't see any stems on there, so that's kind of cool, right? Because then it can be any which way you want it to be. Okay, I'll trim this off. And then on the inside, I'm going to use another one of the sayings from that same set. And it just says, from our house to yours. And then I am done with the ink pad. So I can close it up. And then my, this should be good and dry for me to start coloring. So let's just stick this on the inside of the card. So I had a lot of fun coloring this image. And I have lots of blends. But look at how cute that font is. And it's got printing and writing. You know me, I love that. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. And we'll pull our sunflowers over. So like I said, look at all of these amazing colors I'm going to use. All right. Now I'm going to use the light cloud cover, and that's going to be what I put on the outside, so it kind of pops off the page. So I'm just going to take that light cloud cover and I'm just going to outline it here and there. I was talking about this color the other day, because usually I use like light gray granite or light pool party. But this is a real fun one. And I'm going to kind of go like this. So it's just a little bit of a shadow there. And I usually do it first so that I don't have any color like in front of my eyes. So if I do it first, it's just a little easier. And I'm not even worrying so much about where I put it. Sometimes I'm real anal when it comes to that, but I'm just putting it here and there and everywhere. All right, so that was just light cloud cover. So now our it's stuck sitting on the table, right? All right, so let's see here. What I like about the blends is I don't have to be so, when I watercolor, I do red last, but when I use the blends, I don't worry about that as much as I do with other ones. So it's kind of nice just to be able to grab, you know, any old color. All right, so we're gonna go dark granny apple and light lemon lime twist. And because you know that is my favorite combo. So I'm gonna do my leaves a few different colors. So the leaves that I'm saying go with the sunflowers, they're going to be a color, and then the leaves that are just kind of stuck in the vase, like a filler flower or filler leaf, are going to be a different color. So again, this is dark granny apple, and then I'll do the light lemon lime twist. But already it looks so pretty, right? I think this one would be fun, even just stamped with a colored ink, and then you didn't even color it, because it has all that really fun detail in it. I mean, the detail in the wood down here, the detail in the leaves, the sunflowers, the apples. It is just drawn. It's so beautifully. I really need to find out who drew this. All right, so I'm going to take a little lemon lime and I'm going to put a little bit on my apple as well. Okay. Then let's get my dark pecan, and I'm going to put a little dark pecan in my apple. And then we'll go over it with the poppy. So then I'll take my dark poppy and I'm going to go right over top of that pecan. And that's just going to give us a real nice dark red in there. So it basically gives us like 3 shades of poppy almost. Okay. And then I'll take my light poppy. I went out of the line a little bit, but that's okay. All right, and then I'm going to come back with my light lemon lime twist, and I'm going to go over that red and that green, and it just kind of marries those two together, so it looks like the apple is ripening, right? So it has that little bit of a green tinge to it. Let me get my color lifter, and I'm going to just put a little, make sure this isn't too wet. Some of my color lifters, I don't use them tons. I'm just going to push some of that red back in there. All right, we'll let it do its thing. Okay, so now let's see what else I got here. So I also have Dark Highland. And we're going to put some Highland on these. I'm not for sure what these are. These could be eucalyptus, but I wanted some purple on here. So I'm just doing Dark Highland and then light freesia. I love those together. I like a little purple in my flowers. Okay. And then, all right. So I also want to do my centers of my sunflower. So this is 600 in the center. And while I have my 600 out, I'm also going to color my wood base here. And I'm just going to do the whole thing with 600, and then we'll go back and add some different browns to emphasize all of these nooks and crannies, that live edge. So this was 600. Okay. And then I want my 400. So we'll put our 400. I'm just kind of tap it in my middle of my sunflower. But I want to keep some of that light in there. I don't want to totally get rid of that 600. All right, so now I'm just going to take that 400 and put like a shadow around here. Around my apples. And along that little edge thing right there. And I'm going to drag it down here and there into my live edge. I love coloring wood stuff. Nature is so fun to color because it is so forgiving, right? Because already look how amazing that looks. All right, now I'm going to take my 200 and we're going to put 200 and we're just going to kind of dab that in the center of our sunflower. And I'm also going to bring it over and put a little bit here and there on my live edge of the wood. Because look how cool that looks. Doesn't that look so neat? Oh, I love it. All right, let's do our sunflowers. So I have dark daffodil. You can tell I need to get a new one, but I just keep using it. And then when I go back to it, it like replenishes itself, but pretty soon it's not going to be able to do that because listen how noisy it is. All right, so this was dark daffodil. And then I'll do light daffodil. Because see, that one's nice and quiet because it's not so empty. I mean, I don't mind a little squeak, but okay. And then I'm going to take the dark duckling like we did the other day, and I'm going to put that right in there. And a couple of the, drag it out a little bit, just so that our sunflowers have a little dark yellow to them. Okay. All right. Now I want to do my, I think I kind of think it might be like a milk container or whatever. Oop, hang on a minute. Did you see that spider? Did I get that spider? I did. Jeff, remember I was saying about the straw? So Jeff went and got me some straw. So I don't know if that's where that spider came from. But, so I put this straw around. Oh my gosh. So then I had to like wash my arms because they were so itchy. Okay, so back to the thing. All right, so I'm just going to take my light pool party. And I'm going to make this be kind of like a vintagey looking jar. Because you can't see, it's not like they drew the stems, right? Like it is a solid jar because you don't see the stems in there. So this is just light pool party. And then I'm going to take my light summer splash. We're going to put a little light summer splash just on the edge here. And then I'll go in with the dark pool and blend it out. Before I do that, I want to put a little, I'm just going to pretend that this might be like, it's not glass. I'm going to think that this could be like metal, right? This could maybe be like a metal can. So I'm going to take my light Cajun and I'm going to put a little bit of rust here and there on it. And then we'll soften this with the pool party. But it just kind of makes it look kind of cool, right? All right, so it's got a little bit of rust on it. And then I'll take my dark pool party and just soften it a little bit. And then I can go back with that splash and add a little dark. Because as I go over this with the pool party, I'm softening up my summer splash a little bit. But I want to make my rust not to be too potent. All right, so then I'll just come back in with my light summer. And then it looks lots better. So there's that. And then I said I was going to color these leaves up here a little bit different so that they weren't the same as the sunflower one. So I'm just going to go dark old olive. And this way, when they butt up against that other leaf, you can tell, oh, this is a different leaf than that other one. So this is dark old olive. Oh, this is just so much fun to color. Oh my gosh, it is drawn so amazing. It is such a great size to color. Sometimes things are too small. All right, and then I have my light Granny Apple. So just like I mix dark Granny Apple and light Lemon Lime Twist, I'm mixing dark Old Olive and light Granny Apple. And what happens is, because there's enough of a variation of their colors, when you put them together, it looks so vivid in the dark and the light. And I love that, because they're not so identical that you can't see that there's a highlight and a low light. So definitely, just like when I showed those cone flowers the other day, just play with your colors. When you find a color you like, I have a note. I'll show you the book. I'll show you the book. I have this book. So this is my second one because I filled my other one. And so what I have is like, so I just keep these. So these are my little mini masterpieces. So I stamp them, and so then I remember, okay, how I colored it. And then, so what I did was I stuck these flowers in here. So when I want to reference back, not necessarily to color the coneflower, it could be anything, right? It could be anything that you color. It could be a wagon. You go, oh, these colors looked really good. You know, I'll color them with the wagon. So I just stuck them in this book here with little notes, you know, as to what the colors are. And then I can reference back. So the same thing with this, right? Like I might go, oh my gosh, I loved how these colors look. Then I could stick this in the book, and I could just make a little note. And I use this color, I use that color. And, you know, just so if I want to color it identically down the road. It also is good when I do the classes, so then I know what I used. Because sometimes I'll forget. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, so I have a little notepad that I keep track of when I'm doing the classes, so I remember what I used. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of splattering on this. So I have just a grid sheet, my little splatter guard, and I'm going to take just the black, light basic black, and I know you're not supposed to splatter, but I do, because I think they want you to go like this, but I just, it's because it's hard on the tip, but I'm a rebel. All right, so I like that bit of splatter on there because it's that country, you know, it's like a country kind of look. And I also want to put a little gel pen. So what do I do with my gel pen? Here it is. So I'm going to take a little gel pen, and I'm going to put some little dots in my flower, a little bit on the apple, and some dots here and there on my jug. But I love how that wood turned out, right? Doesn't it look real, like the texture and everything? All right, so I want my gel to dry really good. So I'll bring my card over, and I'll cut my welcome home out while we're letting that dry. So let me get these underway. Look at all those beautiful colors. Love, love, love. All right, so now I'm just gonna fussy cut out my welcome home. And I love adding that little bit of green to the apples because it makes it look even more real. And we actually, I made an apple pie, Jeff and I did, on the weekend with the apples from our tree. We don't know what kind of apples they are. We probably have it written down somewhere, but I don't think they're Granny Smith because they're a little sweeter, they're smaller, I don't know, but it was a really good pie. So the birds got all the peaches, so next year we need to trim that tree down, not cut it down, but just trim it. And Rhonda told me about getting some mesh bags or something you put in the tree. So, well, hopefully that will work. We did get these little spinner things, and they worked for a while, but then after a while, I think the bird were like, oh, those spinner things aren't going to do anything to us. All right, so I'm just going to stick this right on here, and I'm not going to back it with anything, but I want it to stand out a little bit, so I am going to use dimensionals, but I'm also going to rough up the edges with my scissors. And what this does is it roughs the edges up, but it also, to me, it makes it look like the cardstock is thicker because it pulls that edge up. So just rough that up, and it just makes your cardstock, to me, it just looks a little thicker. All right, and we're just really shabbying it up, right? I mean, this is, we've got our crumb cake and our splatters. We've got our live edge that our sunflower are sitting on. It is a total shabby card. All right, so we'll stick that on here like that. and then my welcome home. So I have these little things over here, and these are just the foam adhesive sheets, and I just have them off to the side, and I just cut what I need. So I have my welcome. It's like stuck to my finger. And then home. And this would be a nice card to give somebody, I think, that are moving into the neighborhood. All right, so we have, even just home by itself looks cool, right? And then our welcome. And then I want to put a little bling. And these are the 2025-2027 in color flat pearls. And I'm going to use the yellow ones. 1, 2, and 3. So there you have it. Oh my gosh, isn't that so cool? And I could even put, you know, the whatchamacallit, this glue right here, this fine tip glue. If you put it on and let it dry, it will dry like crystal effects, because it would be really cool, right? But those apples look delicious as it is. All right. Okay, I got my glue fixed. So see how the apples are all shiny? Now it isn't all the way dry yet, so I'm not going to touch it, but see how, and that's just using the fine tip glue. I just had to clean the tip out of the bottle, but you just put it on there, let it air dry, and it just turns into like crystal effects. But now my apples are just these shiny things. So I wanted to pop on there and show you that. So let me show you. So here was the online version. Look at all this mess. All right, so here's the online version I colored, but this is if you run it through the embossing folder. So then it gives you, you know, all of that wood grain look. And then here is my twist. So either one, this is a really fun set. And even this little one here, this is going to be fun to color too, right, with the succulents. So cute. So yeah, so let me know if you want me to do this as a class in the mail, because I really like this. All right, so let me say see you later, alligator. So that was a little long today, but oh, this is such a cute set. And like I said, I didn't realize how big this was till I was mounting it. I'm like, holy moly, this is a good size set. And I love that because it makes it so much easier to color. And I can't wait to color this little guy with the blends as well. All of them. So anyways, all right, so I'm going to stop blabbing. Make sure you come back tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays. That will be at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. And I'm going to be doing the that pop-up. It was this right here. When I did my unboxing, I'm going to do the pop-up Pals kit. So that's what I'm going to show tomorrow. So make sure you don't miss that. Again, that's 3 o'clock. If you have any questions at all, make sure you holler at me. If you are interested in getting this stuff now, you can put this stuff in your starter kit. So just reach out to me and I can give you information on that. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. So have a great night and I'll see you then. All right. Bye for now.